and all the men of Israel, when they saw the man, fled from him and were dreadfully afraid. Then David spoke to the men who stood by him, saying, what shall be done for this man who kills this Philistine and takes away the reproach from Israel? For who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of God? David believed that God would deliver. He says, who is this guy? He's taunting the God of Israel, the mighty God of Israel. Who does this guy think he is? He may be tall, but my God is so much taller. He is so much greater and so much mightier to deliver us out of this circumstance, out of all circumstances. David started to face opposition, resistance from the very people that you would think would be supporting him, his family and his king. His brothers began to get angry and accuse him of pride and insolence for even being on the battlefield. David encourages King Saul not to fear, but the king discounts him as being a youth, and Goliath is such a great man of war. Saul was basically saying, you aren't capable of defeating Goliath. You're just but a young kid and a shepherd. And this Goliath, he has been fighting battles since his youth. He basically discounts him. And that's a lot of times what the enemy tries to do. The enemy tries to tell us. He says, hey, you aren't good enough. You cannot win this battle. You aren't smart enough. Even sometimes the people that we love, the people that are around us, they say, you're not qualified. I don't know if you should be doing this. I don't think you have enough experience behind your belt. But if you're called by God, that's time to step up, because the God that fights for us, he fights our battles and he will come through. Let's go ahead and continue this story in verse 34. But David said to Saul, your servants used to keep his father's sheep. And when a lion or a bear came and took a lamb out of the flock, I went out after it and struck it and delivered the lamb from its mouth. And when it arose against me, I caught it by its beard and struck it and killed it. Your servant has killed both lion and bear, and this uncircumcised Philistine will be like one of them, seeing he has defied the armies of the living God. Moreover, David said, the Lord who delivered me from the paw of the lion and from the paw of the bear, he will deliver me from the hand of this Philistine. You see David's confidence there. He didn't say might. He said he will. David also, he takes a little walk down memory lane, and he thinks about all of the lions and all of the bears, all of the times that God delivered him from those circumstances and they kept him safe. And he knows that those are stories, those are testimonies of how God delivered him. And sometimes it's really helpful to recall times that God has delivered us from overwhelming circumstances, times that we should have been dead, times that we didn't see a way out. And he says, those times God delivered me, he will do it again. And I just wanted to share a quick little testimony of a couple times God did that for me. There was one time I was hiking in Arizona, and it was called Picacho Peak. It was south of Phoenix and north of Tucson. And I was hiking up, and there was a part where there was basically a spot where you had to climb a rope to get up. Well, on the way down, I was being stupid, but I was like, yeah, I don't need the rope. I can scale this down. And so I decided to scale down the cliffside, and there came a point where the next foothold was too far. And so I said, okay, if I let myself fall, I think I'll be able to catch my foot in this spot. And you guys probably know what's going to happen already. I missed the foothold, and I ended up falling over 30 feet. It was between probably like 30 and 50 feet. And I fell on my hip, and I had no broken bones, no blood, nothing. All I had was a bruised hip. I had a little bit of the wind knocked out of me, and I was in shock a little bit. But that's all that happened. God saw me through that experience. There was another time when I was hiking on a mountainside, and I lost my footing and I started skirting down the mountainside, and there's sticker bushes, there's thorns, and all of these things down below, about 30 feet down. And I grabbed a hold of this plant. There was this root, and I grabbed a hold of it and I wouldn't let go. And I tried to pull myself up and I couldn't. And then eventually the Lord gave me the power and the strength to pull myself up to safety. That's the God we serve, that he will be able to get us out of all of these circumstances, just like he delivered David from the lion and the bear.